Yeah, hello, this is Dave from cheapbooks.com playing World of Tanks. The tank is a Matilda 4. This is a Russian Tier 5 medium tank, and the map is Steppes. This is a tank that, well, let's not talk about the tank. If you look at the enemy team, you're going to notice that there's 3 SPGs, and I want to go kill them. I do SPG hunting all the time, and on this map, the way you do it is you go up the middle. You have to be careful because sometimes your allies may come with you, and sometimes they will help you, and sometimes they will give you problems. Okay, so the reason why I say they'll give you problems is because if they get spotted, the enemy team will suddenly show up in large numbers. The Matilda is a good tank for killing because it's relatively slow. So when you show up with a slow tank, the enemy is usually worn down a little bit. You got a fast-firing gun and a lot of armor, so you can kill a lot of tanks with it.
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Okay, so I got a lucky kill on that. You'll notice that the KV-20 is in a really bad... KV-20 is in a really bad position over here. He went way too far up. He's going to attract attention from the enemy. So now tanks like this T-40 might retreat, which means there's going to be more tanks I'm going to have to go up against in order to kill those SPGs. Normally I go alone. I don't like it when I have
see the target.
1, 2, there's 5 of us, and I prefer to go alone. Now this M7 Priest, you're going to be wondering, why is it SPG over here? I seem to recall that what happened was he was upset that he's a Tier 3 in a Tier 5 game. So he said that he was going to suicide himself. But what ended up happening is actually really good. He actually got some good gameplay in this game. You can see a lot of enemy tanks on the west side. I never would have allowed them to advance that far. It was a bad maneuver from my team to allow them to advance. This is the point when you do the SPG assault that you got to be careful. When you come where this T-46 is, there's a chance that there will be a tank in this area where this tree is, right over here, or over here, that will spot you. And you'll know when you come around here, and you'll get to where I am, and your sixth sense will light up. So that's where you got to be careful as soon as you break through there. You might have tanks over here that start shooting at you. Second of all, you might have tank destroyers over here, or more often over here. And what will happen is you'll have perhaps 1 or 2 on one side, 1 or 2 on the other side, and sometimes you'll have them retreat quickly from the far side of the map. Let's see what happens. It looks like there's nobody here. When there's nobody here, that's really good for me. If you have a fast tank, you have to wait a little bit, because if you have a fast tank, you're more likely to encounter enemy tanks. You got a slower tank like the Matilda, they're going to have left, more likely to have left. Now you can see that we have a Chinu Kai, but he's not focused on us. It looks like his gun is pointed away. Because 5 tanks came up the middle, we did not spread out. I don't know if anybody went. We have nobody dead on the team, so it looks like that we had no coverage on the east side, which allowed a tank destroyer to slip through. Over here is where you have to cross your fingers and hope that nobody sees you. If you're lucky, sometimes the SPGs will be in an elevated position, which means that they'll be easier to kill, but you also have to be aware that there's a possibility that a low-tier tank that is fearful he might get destroyed, sometimes they camp up here also.
Permission to engage.
And I definitely recommend shooting if you can. Okay, so the Chinu Kai is starting to give us some crossfire. But we have a lot of tanks, so it's not a big problem.
Target lost. Ready to fire.
You can see that the M7 Priest, who said he was going to do his suicide mission, he killed that SPG. So he actually completed. He did something useful, and he thought that he wasn't going to have a purposeful game.
Enemy armor is hit.
You can see I got hit in the rear by that Chinu Kai. Let's look at that Chinu Kai, who's out there. And the thing you want to do in this case, you want to get over these rail lines as fast as possible. If you get over these rail lines, nobody from out here in the distance is going to be able to hit you. For example, that tank there, the T-40 would have been able to hit me, and the Chinu Kai, but those problems will go away once I get over the rail line.
They're knocked out. Target acquired. Penetration. Gotcha.
Now, when you're up against an SPG, you want to avoid driving directly towards them unless you're really close. If you're close, you can drive directly towards them and get to their side. In this case, you want to go laterally for two reasons. Number one, they have to turn their tank, which increases the chance they miss the shot. And number two, they have a range, and if they go outside of that range, they have to re-aim their gun. And once you get outside of that range, I don't know what the range is called, what happens is they'll absolutely miss the shot. So you want to head, like I said, laterally towards the SPG. So now I got 3 kills, 2 of which were SPGs. We got the Chinu Kai, and most of the enemy team is on the west side. So we're going to go to the west side to go see if we can do some more damage.
Permission to engage.
You'll notice that when I stopped, the gun was bouncing around a bit. Not that much. And when you use the auto-aim, it stabilizes the gun immediately, prevents it from bouncing around. When you have the auto-aim, right now I can see the top of the tank, but not the bottom of the tank. When you can see the top of the tank, you should take a shot with the auto-aim. The shot tends to be a little bit high on the tank. So if it were the reverse, where we could hit the bottom but not the top, with the auto-aim you would miss.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Not in that case. When I say the top, I mean the top half. Once that you cross over that halfway point, you don't want to use the auto-aim anymore.
Target lost. Target acquired.
Also, I would like to add that sometimes I hit the auto-aim by mistake. This seems like a case where I either hit it by mistake or I had a plan to advance on him, which meant that I want the auto-aim so I can shoot and drive at the same time. We'll see what happens.
Target unlocked.
Okay. So what probably happened was I clicked it by mistake. And it's 15-3, and that's the end of the game. That was actually a very easy win for our team. I don't know why we won so easily. Perhaps if you review the video, you can look at the enemy as they were dying one by one. That's the Matilda 4. It's a Russian Tier 5 medium tank. Got 3 kills. The map is steppes. If you take a close look at the map, you'll see that it's actually designed to look like farmland, even though it's not that clear. There's 3 Matildas. There's the Matilda, which is a British 4 tier. There's a Matilda BP. And then there's a Matilda 4. My understanding is that the Tier 4 Matilda is the best equipped Matilda. Also, if you have any interest in joining our clan, the clan is CBKS. We also have CBKS2 for the more novice players, and we have CBSPG for SPG players and support. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, please post below.